Welcome back everybody to another trading education video, and today I'm going to go over pair trading, MicroStrategy, and Tesla. This is a bit of a cursory overview, and this is actually an excerpt from a demo I did in Monday's macro overview video. But so many of you have been asking about this that I want to cover it at least at a high level. And if you would like to learn more about it, there are plenty of coaches in the InvestAnswers community that teach this specifically. So two that I really like is Jacob Trades and Mopbots. I've put links to both their Calendly down below, but here's the demo. I hope you enjoy. This isn't financial advice. Past results are not indicative of future performance. Do your own research. So let's talk about pair trading. Today I'm going to be looking at the MicroStrategy and Tesla pair trade chart. If you are in the InvestAnswers community and you go on the discourse channel, there's a spreadsheet in there where folks have tried all kinds of different pairs. So there's plenty of information and backtests there for you to check out. Now, when you're pair trading, you're generally looking for volatile assets that aren't correlated. So when one's going up, the other's going down, and you can swap back and forth and take advantage of that inverse correlation and volatility. You're looking also for assets that you believe in and don't mind holding even through a downturn, since the aim is to swap back and forth between the two to grow your overall holdings of each asset. And the last thing I'll mention is that this is best done in a tax-free retirement account because you are trading a lot, and if you're doing a ton of this swapping, the short-term capital gains will just eat into your profits and don't make the strategy as worthwhile. So let's dive into the charts. Okay, here we are on the charts, and in terms of the ticker, I'm pulling up MicroStrategy MSTR divided by Tesla, TSLA. So it's one asset compared to the other, and you can see instead of price, you get these ratios on the right here. And if we're at a 1.0 ratio, it means both assets are exactly the same price. If we are at a higher ratio of, say, a 1.5 that we almost got to, it means that for every MicroStrategy share you sell, you get 1.5 shares of Tesla. The flip side is true. If we're down here, then Tesla is more valuable than MicroStrategy, and it's time to sell that Tesla and buy MicroStrategy. So for this setup, I really am just using the confluence model from IADSS, and I have the trend model turned on as well with that blue and orange to identify the trend. And then I also, at the bottom, I have mean reversion, and I like to add RSI too, just to give me a little bit more edge on these flips, because you can see that you often get multiple buy and sell signals on the chart, and they often aren't totally accurate to the peak, or you're getting multiple ones on the way down. So I think looking at the last couple of weeks is a great example here of how you play this. So down here, we flipped from Tesla into MicroStrategy as we were recovering out of that early April market dip. And we can see that MicroStrategy outran Tesla, and you see that increase in value here. And when you're getting that sell signal, that's your sign to flip back into Tesla right here. And you don't always get a buy signal to make that swap again. So sometimes you would be stuck riding this out all the way up and then continuing that trend. But that's why I bring up RSI, because whenever RSI gets below 30 or above 70, that's my signal to pay attention. And so I'm not just looking for these sell signals or these buy signals. I'm looking for that mean reversion spike with a sell signal or a buy signal, for RSI to be spiked above 70 or below 30. And I'm looking for at least two of those to tell me that, hey, it might be time to make a swap. And then when I see that trend turn here, I'm forcing myself to make that swap because the trend changes even though I didn't get that green buy signal. We had a very clear peak here where it was time to switch back into Tesla, and that was on May 8th, just a few days ago. So we see that signal, we have the mean reversion spike, RSI is spiked, and once the trend flips right here, that's your sign to swap from MicroStrategy into Tesla, and you ride this all the way down. And you're starting to get these buy signals here, which is telling you that the price action is aggressive and the signals are firing for this to be a swap, but the trend is still down. So even though you're getting all these signals and RSI is way oversold, you're waiting, and actually just Friday and then the rest today, I made this swap back from Tesla into MicroStrategy. So I was waiting for that trend flip right here, and I acted a little bit preemptively on Friday because it just looked like it was starting to turn. So I made my first swap at 1.16. The others were today at 1.18. It kept running into the end of the day, and I'm just looking for maybe a little pullback if I'll get lucky to swap the rest of that at the best rate possible. So I'm doing this on the 1 hour time frame, so there are more swaps and trades happening. So it's a little bit more active, but it helps you really maximize all of these swings. A lot of folks like to just work on the 4 hour time frame, and that's totally fine too, but you can see on the 4 hour, you might not be quite as active in your trading, and maybe on the 4 hour, you're getting this buy signal and you're just playing this one big move all the way up and then this swing back down. And then again, you're not getting a buy signal there. So this is why this takes a bit of discretion. But even on the 4 hour, you can see this is why I add the RSI, which not a lot of people do. But that spike above 70 right here on the peak, and then at this bottom here, it didn't nail the bottom exactly, but you got that RSI below 30. When you then see the trend change, that's a signal to me that it's time to make the swap, even if I'm not getting the signal there. So again, confluence model, IADSS on neutral, and we're just looking for those trend changes to make those swaps between the two assets and grow our bags. And this can be quite lucrative. I was talking to Mopbot, and I think she was saying since this peak here, or maybe down here, she doubled her MicroStrategy bag just in a couple of months. So you can see how this can be a quite powerful way to grow your holdings of those two assets or whatever pair you might happen to be trading. I have the back test on here so I can see my ROI, but again, I'm not acting on every one of these buy and sell signals. I'm using a bit more discretion and I'm integrating RSI, and this is a bit more advanced, but I even have RSI lines drawn at just about 38 and at 60 that are telling me that there are some points of rejection where the trend might not flip yet, but once it breaks through, that's a sign that we're flipping the trend. The 50% level is also important, but that's a bit more advanced and nuanced and a conversation for another time. If you do want to learn more about this, Mopbots and Jacob Trades are both great teachers, and I have put their Calendly links down in the description below. Awesome. So I hope you guys found that to be helpful. If you do have other demos that you want to see, charts you want me to look at, any requests in general, just leave those in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.